Nicole Rivera, and this is the Rivera family homeschool vlog. My husband and I have 3 boys. One is in 2nd grade, one is in pre-K, and then the other one's a toddler. So, I wanted to come, I haven't posted in a while. We went on a yes, is that you? Is that you? We went on a very long vacation, road trip. And then we got back and, life and getting back to school and we do classical conversations and all that. I haven't had time to post anything. So, but I wanted to, because I think, I have to go back and check. I either was supposed to. Anyway, I wanted to talk about math. We have been struggling with how we're going to switch things up to do math this year. I had a plan before we left for our trip. We came home and the whole plan changed. So I wanted to do a little update so you can see what we're currently doing. We've decided to go a little bit of a different direction. I did not think we were going to go this direction. So we are part of Classical Conversations. And Classical Conversations has released their own math curriculum called the Math Map. And it's 100% classically based. And I was not going to do it because every time I looked at it, I did not understand it. But one of our friends sat us all down and had like a training session because she understood it. And I'm like, all right, fine, we'll try it. It's free for our levels right now because it hasn't fully been released. So I'm like, it's free, we'll try it. I'm okay with trying free stuff. So we tried it. We're on week 3. I like it and don't like it. Okay, so I like it. It's just a lot of writing. And I don't know about other people's kids, but I feel like boys sitting down and doing 4 worksheets a day is a lot. Now, granted, they are not 4 worksheets like traditional math where they're just like solving equations. They are learning grammar because they are in the grammar stage in the classical model. In the classical model, young kids they're just gaining all the vocabulary, the grammar of the subject. And then when they get to the next stage, they're going to use it. And then when they get to the rhetoric stage, they're going to be able to explain it and teach it and those things. That doesn't mean they don't learn how to add, subtract, multiply, divide. They still do those things too. But they're learning the grammar. They're learning what a vector is. They're learning about integers, digits, all these words that they don't fully know. They don't know how to use them yet, but they're becoming familiar with them. So I like that. I just think 4 worksheets a day is a little much for us right now. So I still love Raise, and I didn't want to give up on Raise. It is also a classical approach. It's just a little bit different. And I also love the understanding mathematics. So I was wrestling with how to do those, to incorporate those. And I literally printed an entire workbook. I made another workbook for my 2nd grader, and I'm not going to use it. Or at least I don't think I'm going to use it right now. I put it away, and I'm just like, okay, well, wasted paper, whatever. And ink. But, so what I did was we are incorporating Raise Arithmetic into our morning time as a read aloud. And what we did is we have these, let me see if I can get them. They're these rainbow pads that kids write on. Let's see if I can pull one out. They're kind of like these. And each of my boys has one. And what I did is I read all of Raise, if you're not familiar with it, is oral. So at this stage, it's all oral, and they read word problems. So let me grab my Raise from my morning basket. So this is it. This is 1st and 2nd grade math, all in one. And so like this morning, I decided just start back at the beginning. The 4-year-old's learning to add and subtract. He likes numbers. So I'm like, okay, Francis had 2 cents, and his mother gave him 1 cent more. How many had he then? So he's learning 2 plus 1 is 3, and the older one likes to review them and solve the problem. They prefer problems in word. That's the second form. That in word form. And then the older one is learning multiplication because, okay, so it's not like traditional math where we learned addition to like 3 digits and subtraction to 3 digits, and then we did multiplication. They're learning like numbers 1 through 10 at a young stage, how to manipulate those with addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. And then they start working with bigger numbers, doing all those 4 operations with the bigger numbers. So they're learning all the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, but with numbers not 0 through 9, and then they add more to it, and it gets more complicated as they go, but they understand how to add, how to subtract, how to multiply, how to divide, if that makes any sense. So I skip certain things, like these pictures in the book aren't super clear, so I don't even do those problems. I just go straight to these problems, if you can see them, which they start with 1 times tables, and then next week we'll do 2 times tables, and we'll just dwell on this for a week and practice these for a week while we master it. It's all about mastery. That's why this is not thick. You're supposed to dwell and master each concept before you move to the next one. And then, I don't know, if we completely give up on math, then I'm gonna pull in understanding mathematics, which would give them all the grammar of math. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know, I'm still trying to figure out how math map is going to fit into our lives, or if it's going to fit in there at all right now. The point is that if they would continue with classical conversations into their challenge years, that's 7th through 12th, they have to do math map. It's required. So I need them to at least be prepared for it. Granted, we have time because we're still very young, but I want them to be prepared for it, not just like sideswipe by it. So anyway, I'm up in the air about it. I don't know. Right now, we did math already for today because I did raise in it, so I feel good. So if we get math done, fine. If not, fine. We are moving to, so this is kind of one of our bookshelves right here. And down here, we have all of our, I always say the name of this publisher wrong. I think it's Cambridge Math? Charlesbridge, always wrong. Charlesbridge Math Adventures introduce kiddos to all different kinds of math concepts. So when my oldest was in 1st grade, he could already tell you what the radius, diameter, and circumference of a circle is, and show you and break it down. He would like get round crackers out and say, oh, break it off, and say, this is the radius. Break another piece off. This is diameter. Because of these stories. So these teach like very higher level math concepts. Like we know Pythagorean theorem because of these stories. So this I feel like is also a good way to prepare them for the math map later. And to make upper level math not so, the multi-minus divides. Not to make upper level math so intimidating, because math is like its own language. So you have to learn it in chunks. So that's what I really want them to just learn the language, so that then they just have to learn how to use it, which is the classical method. Learn the words, what they mean, and then learn how to use them. So then it's not so intimidating. You break these things into smaller pieces. Probably not gonna be able to get that back on there. Anyway, so my goal for our homeschool, like I've always said, our 5 main pillars of homeschool are our scripture memory and prayer and hymns, by reading the Bible, and memorizing catechism. Those are 5. If we do nothing else, we do those, and we do those every day. Everything else, like obviously they need to know how to read so they can read the Bible. So I'm still doing the easy peasy reader for the 4-year-old because he's doing well learning how to read with that. The older one, I was using McGuffey's, and the easy peasy, I have the easy peasy first reader here and the McGuffey's. And I said the point of this was to get him to be able to read his Bible. And now he's reading his Bible a chapter a day. Independently, he asks me if he has questions for words. So he's transitioned to the Bible. That's the goal. Transition him into the Bible. He also reads just for fun. We're also reading, I know I'm talking about math, but I feel like I could talk about other things too. We're reading This is an excellent, I should probably do a video on this. Pages of History is an excellent history read-aloud if you want something that's from a biblical, reformed worldview, which Story of the World is not. So, and then we have these from Classical Conversations, the Copper Lodge read-alouds. So we're learning about the kings of Rome through story. It's all literature-based. We're learning about ancient world echoes by reading fairy tales and things from from around the world in ancient times. So right now, most of the stories have been from Africa. We're going to be reading some from Greece, from Asia, and they're fun. The kids like them. And then Exploring Insects with Uncle Paul. This is Uncle Paul is biblically based, and he's teaching them all about insects, and everything reflects back to God and how God created everything. And so we're having fun, and they're just little stories, and they're broken down, if you do classical conversations, into the weeks of the 24 weeks of our school year. So you just pick what week we're on and you read from there. And that's it. And then we also have our World Kids News, which we have been loving. They have it's news from a Christian perspective for kids, and we've been learning all kinds of things about all over the world. And it has the gospel in almost every news story, which is awesome. And we are still always doing our Truth and Grace memory book. We're still working on that. All the kiddos. For grammar, I'm literally making every subject a read aloud. Literally, that's my goal. Every subject is a read aloud, maybe some copy work or a drawing in their notebook. That's what we're doing. And so this is how we're learning grammar from Grammarland. The kids already know nouns, pronouns, and articles. And then with classical conversations this year, we're learning prepositions. So that's probably where I'm gonna stay right now. And we parse sentences, and I get those sentences off of the classical conversations forums. They're from the Bible. They have Bible verses that have prepositions in them, and then we kind of just try and find the nouns and the pronouns, if there are any, and the articles, just to reinforce that, to get the oldest ready for his essentials, which starts in 4th grade. And then we're always rereading Little Pilgrim's Progress. Or my oldest has wanted to read we've read Little Pilgrims 5 or 6 times with him. So he wants to read the actual one. I don't think he's there yet with the reading, so I'll have to read it to him. And we also have our Imagination Station collection that we're reading. We have lots of books about missionaries. And we have our YWAM Young Heroes for Young Readers, I think it's called. Heroes for Young Readers collection that we got, and that's our history books. We have to buy a lot of books and just keep them because our library has almost no Christian books. So to have to order them into the library alone takes a long time. Yeah. So that's where we're at. So I forgot one thing. I wanted to show you what the math map looks like. I'm going to show you the 2nd grade level because pretty much the level before it pretty much looks very similar anyway. It's just they change what numbers what group of numbers they're working on. Okay, so let me turn the camera around. So with the math map, this is the map. And so you start out at the digits level, which is where my 4-year-old is. I think this is 4 or 5-year-olds are digits. And then 6 and 7 would be naturals, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, It kind of goes through, and you progress through at your own pace. And I have I didn't actually fill in last week. So we're on, and then so it's a family subject. So all the kids go through all these lessons all the way through 12th grade together. They just have their own individual workbooks, and they go deeper with each one. So you're going through the same 30 lessons every year. You just every year go deeper, which I like that. So we do this together, and then they do their worksheets on their own. So this is Griffin and Phoenix. So this was ex nihilo, which you start your week off with a picture study and some quotes that you discuss, and you look at the picture, and it relates back to whatever you're doing for the week. And they give you a sample conversation to kind of help you. And this, I keep my pick. Okay, so there's no worksheets there's no worksheets for ex nihilo. And then this is week 2, which is number notation. And this is the naturals level, which is where our oldest son, the 2nd grader, I put him here. He might have been able to do the next, this is not even available, I don't think, integers yet. So, yeah. So I just put him in naturals. So we talk about this. We read the quotes and we discuss it. And then every day they're supposed to do flashcards. The flashcards, not all of them are currently in stock, so we can't do that. So for me, I'm just doing Raise. I'm not sure if we're going to continue this, so I don't even know if I'm going to order those. We'll see what happens. But they trace these, and this is worksheet number 1, and you talk about it. You read this to them. It's very independent work, especially once they can read. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this introduces everything for the week, this first day. And you discuss and talk about these things with them. And then the next day, they do the same thing, but just a little bit deeper. So here's let me go to day 1. I'm going to try and flip to it faster so you can see the 2 differences. So here's page 1 for day 1. And then here's page 1 for day 2. So see, it's the same concepts, but just presented a little differently, some different words, a little deeper, and every day it kind of grows upon itself. It's the same concepts presented, just in different ways and a little deeper every day. Same thing. And like this is the first day again. So you see how the first day is kind of laid out very similarly. And then this is the last first day right here. All laid out very similar. They just cover things a little differently and go a little deeper. Okay, and then this is where we're at now, week 3, and I think we've only done, let me see, what did we do? I think we did 2 days worth so far. We got interrupted last week because my husband had to go to the hospital for a couple days, but he's good now. So we did not. We got sidelined. So this is what they're doing this week. This was day 1. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then this is day 2. They pick up where they were. Let me see if I can flip this easier. They pick up where they were here, and they just add to it a little bit. They go deeper. And then this is what we did last. Whether or not, and this is the day that I told my husband, I'm done with math. It's not because it's hard, it just takes so long. And it's just, doing this with a toddler in the house is not working so well for me. Because he comes over and he like scribbles on their paper, or he gets upset that he's not getting enough attention because this takes so long for us to do. So I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do with this. The oldest can do this easy. I could just hand it to him and then tell him, when you're done, come and talk to me, and then we can do it. The second board needs a lot of hand holding for this. So I don't know. We'll have to kind of see. Maybe I'll just give him 1 worksheet a day to do, and we'll go from there. Anyway, this is what today will be. If we decide to do this today, we'll have to do this page. It's all tracing, almost all tracing. This page, this one's labeling. All tracing, it's almost all tracing. We'll have to do this. We read the words aloud. We're gonna do all of this, and we do all this, and we discuss it. So it is 4 pages. We emphasize that it is 4 pages. So yeah, that's why I'm a little bit, and it's not even that difficult. It really isn't. It's a good thing. Maybe I'll do it. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so all that to say, homeschooling is always changing and always rearranging. And I hope that these videos are helpful and not hurtful, and encouraging, and that you're not just going out and buying a bunch of stuff that you don't need, which we all do anyway. It's like a vicious cycle. But yeah, like and subscribe, and God willing, I'll be able to make some more videos.